My name is Professor John Gartchie, Indian Commander Pay. Now, your thoughts on the IMF negotiations and the first phase of it, was completed. Announcement at the by. Prof, it's good to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Let me take your initial reactions on the announcement by the IMF. How did you react to the announcement?
Well, I think it's a milestone that has indicated that we are working towards a program to be submitted to the IMF Executive Committee. This agreement that has been signed is only effective when it is approved by the executive board of the IMF. It is until that funding will be released in tranches, and then the monitoring will take place for specific benchmark set to be achieved until all the money is released within a 3-year period. So we have a long way to go. We need to complete debt restructuring and ensure that it works effectively. That is what is going to give a signal to the IMF Executive Committee to approve the program for us.
So with the pushback that government has received when it comes to even our local debt exchange program with the trade unions and several other entities kicking against it, is there a likelihood that by the time we enter into next year, government would have been able to do some consultative work to arrive at a conclusive point with this haircut program that we've all been discussing?
Well, I think that is very significant to engage in because you are considering today's problem and tomorrow's challenges. You don't want to solve this problem and be satisfied that you have done debt restructuring when you have created an impression in the minds of the people that when you give money to government, it will come back after some years to tell you that we can't pay. So we shouldn't create that impression. Debt restructuring, the main focus of the debt restructuring is negotiation. So if you fail to engage in negotiation, then it means that you are failing your country, because it has serious ramification. It's not a surface issue that you deal with anyhow. You have entered into an agreement signed by you that you are collecting money from citizens and you pay the principal and the interest at a given date. If for any reason you cannot pay, it is required that you engage the people very well and then agree on something that will go into an agreement that will kickstart a new era of the bond by increasing the maturity, by changing the interest profile. So that will be mutually agreed. And I believe that is what we want to see, so that it doesn't create any lasting effect in the minds of investors.
Now, even the local debt is receiving some resistance. Do we have an idea the steps government is taking when it comes to its external debt obligations, Prof?
Well, I believe the domestic debt restructuring is receiving the backlash that we are hearing and seeing because of the lack of engagement. And I believe that is what the finance minister should go back and pick to engage the people. The point I'm making is that the money belongs to the people. You have covenanted to pay. This is not equity investment. This is debt investment. This is bond investment. You have signed that I will pay you principal at this date and I will pay you a coupon rate cumulatively at this date. So if you are going to default, I think the wise thing to do is to engage so that if the people calculate and they are going to lose, let's say 10 cities, they may be ready to lose, let's say, half of that. And even if you want to stick to your position, you need to explain it to the people to understand. So I believe the debt restructuring is receiving this thing because of not taking the key ingredient in debt restructuring, which is negotiation, seriously.
Mm.
Then,
Now,
see, the domestic debt restructuring has some issues. And then we need to explain that. The first point is that the country is the one that borrowed, and the country has debt to restructure. To succeed in that, when you succeed in that, then we can discuss external ones. That is one principle. The second principle is that, you see, the external debt is divided into two. I think there is a feedback from your background.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We will try and rectify that. But we can hear you clearly, so you can proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
The external debt is divided into two. What we can consider as concessionary and then commercial.
Okay.
Now, for concessionary, is held by both IMF, World Bank, and ADB, that is the African Development Bank, and some other development banks. But what has happened is that, take COVID-19 era 2020, IMF gave us 1 billion, zero interest, with a moratorium of 5 years to pay. Okay. Now, IMF is asking a simple thing: COVID-19 expenditure audit. Up to now, it's not been done. IMF, World Bank came together to give us HIPIC initiative that gave a debt forgiveness. We have not lived to expectation, and we have come back to this. So the incentive actually is not there to engage in domestic debt, to engage in debt restructuring externally, because we have not shown leadership. So these are the issues lingering on. Then when you go to commercial debt, I'm not sure the commercial debt holders are willing to exchange their debt. Attempt was being made, it failed. I don't know whether or not they want to change their position now. So until that is seen, the government cannot go ahead to announce anything. You can bully your countrymen, but you can't do same to external people. So that is what is happening. I believe government has appointed about 4 consulting firms to engage the bondholders and see what will be. I believe they have not received clear indication as to the willingness yet. And that is why the bonds have not been, the announcement has not been made.
All right. So ending the conversation, so would it be out of place for people to suggest that, we are out of the woods because of the first level negotiations that we have done?
Oh, out of which woods? No. The first level negotiation, what does it bring to you? Nothing. He has not brought anything to you. Yeah, there are some countries who have passed through that level, have signed a staff level agreement, but it's getting to about a year now. They have not received executive committees, executive boards approval of the IMF. So passing this hurdle is not, I just want to be very moderate. It's not something we should celebrate. It is when the executive committee gives us a program. That is when we can celebrate.
All right. Prof, well, thank you for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you.